positive for lead because, she would even sit there and eat an apple with her hands still covered in white lead.
So this would have been Edith.
Yeah,
Edith
she was Cole.
Edith Cole.
Before she got married, she was C.C. Cole's daughter.
Gotcha.
One of them. There were actually three of them. And
did the third? We know Dorothy did. Did the third one?
No, but her husband actually was in the sales area there at one point in time. But it seems like the family, when they get involved, Everybody in the family.
Right.
But he was going and doing this. Her husband was doing sales, taking orders, and when I went into his shop after Mr. Cole passed, and those orders were hanging still on the wall, some of them.
Huh.
He took so many, and it wasn't really smart because he was taking orders next door to each other. They just happened like that. And it was funny to see all those things still, on nails. Kind of like Forster Cole. I'm going to move out here.
Oh, is this General Forster Cole? See,
yeah.
I was going to ask you about him.
Well, he is one of my great heroes. That double dish over there.
Yeah. Which double?
The one that the
one you're using. Yeah.
That's one that came from Forster's shop.
Okay. Well, hold on a second.
Yeah,
Where?
The blue one, the double.
Where'd it go?
It's under the paints, I think now.
Oh, yes, it is under the paint. So it came from his shop.
Yeah, that's his glaze.
Who threw it?
His brother Truman, Sam, in other words.
Okay.
Truman did not. As a young man, he was really smart. He found out if he didn't learn to turn,
right,
he wouldn't have to work. No fishing. Everybody made over Forster about how good he was doing learning to make pots.
Right.
And his head got sort of big, and he did. He was a tremendous.
So is that your grandsons?
Yeah, they are.
Those are your grandsons.
Yeah. He's learned to do.
Yeah, he's doing pretty good.
Of a starting point for a lot of pottery shops.
So how is General Forster related to everybody else?
Okay, he's Neola's brother, and Neola and Sylvia. You know them down there at A.R. Cole Pottery.
Right.
He's Arthur's son.
Right.
He did not. He had a falling out in 58 or 59 with his dad, and he went to Greenwood, South Carolina, to work in a factory there. He made pottery in Greenwood. He said he put his wheel out on his driveway under the shelter there, and I've got a piece or two that Cole's pottery from Greenwood, South Carolina.
Oh, cool.
Because that's not near Bethune. That's the major clay belt still there, and a lot of potters like Guy Daugherty ended up in Bethune. The Browns, Otto and James, they were in Bethune, and that's originally too. That's where Pottersville was in South Carolina with the slave potters.
Oh, you mean like Dave?
Yeah, like Dave.
Okay.
I used to.
I know.
I sat there, and I could have bought that Dave pot for $1,000.
Oh man!
And I didn't have 10 cents in my name.
Well, I understand that.
Yeah.
So speaking of which, there is a General Forster. Is it Forster?
His mama said Foster.
Oh, Foster. Okay, that I understand that.
him.
So there's a pot of his on eBay right now? Did you see it?
Yes, I did, and I buy. I can't buy everything. I have tried,
Yeah,
but I do love.
I do.
And Peggy, his wife, they were jealous of her when she first started because she's one of those people.
So this is Peggy Cole.
This is Forster's wife, and she was a beautician, but man, when she started down at A.R. Cole's, she started making the same dead blame things there. And she was one of these people. I've had maybe one or two students in all my time that, they were naturals. Jack Kaiser was a natural. He watched somebody make pottery and then he could do it.
Right.
And she was one of those. And she could make the tiniest pieces of pottery. I got on the walls in there, there's some white clay.
Yeah.
I bought a box of porcelain one time.
Mm-hmm.
And thinking I could turn it. Well, I found out it was like turning butter. And I took
It's
that,
too plastic.
Yeah, and she took it, and I said, more power to you. And she ended up, I mean, she could turn that stuff and make miniatures out of it even.
Oh, wow.
I've got a whistle that she made. It
Cool.
plays 3 different notes.
Huh.
She, it was amazing. I got a film, though, of Forster making a face chip. And that is really cool. He was, nothing threw him. He was one of these people that were just so smart and knew the business so well. And he was the one that I saw something there with him, and it just floored me. He had these, and I think they're beautiful glazes like that are lead free. And I said, I'm getting rid of the lead.
So when did you stop?
Oh, it was sometime in the early 80s when I first met him.
Is when you stopped using lead?
Yes. I said, if he can make those beautiful glazes like that, I sure as heck can do
So
it.
That's lead free?
Everything's lead free now.
Well, I know, but that particular piece right there is lead free.
See, he was ahead of the game. A lot of these people tried to do lead frits and everything else to keep the old glazes. But if there's any chance that you could harm a person, get rid of it. And that's pretty much what he said. And I had seen him, he and Truman, or Sam, is, what Truman was called by the family.
Okay, Truman is...
It's Forster's brother.
Oh, okay. He's the one that...
He's the one that made that piece, but he was one that smart enough to realize that he didn't want to turn pottery during that time. Of course, working around.
He's the one that wanted to go fishing.
Yeah, he'd rather go fishing. He's also the one that rode a cow.
Rode what?
A cow.
Oh, you rode a cow, not a calf.
No, it was it was a milk cow. And they were sitting down. He had supposed to go get it where it was tied and rode it home. And when they looked out, he was on the back of that cow standing straight up, yelling, "Hi-ho, Silver, away!" Well, when Arthur saw that,
it was his daddy's cow.
Oh, yeah. It was their milk cow. And he rode that thing home, and he was on the back, and that was what he was yelling, "Hi-ho."
So how old was he?
Oh, he was, I don't know whether he was 10 or not.
Okay. I'm imagining this grown man doing it.
No, but he...
Bless his heart.
Didn't think it was funny. But now Forster did.
Of course, his brother got in trouble.
Oh, yeah. Well, but one time they were in one of Arthur's, when he was still a farmer. I had a beautiful piece here yesterday that I found online from Rainbow. The earlier, when he first started.
You had it here yesterday. Where did it go?
Well, it's at home because it's one, I wanted Logan to see it. He loves A.R. pottery, and he's becoming a collector. I told him that's a dangerous habit.
Well, you can get those tourist pieces for, decent amount.
Well, this gold piece was beautiful, and
but it was
why he wanted it. It was in the antiques mall. He took me back to look at it.
What antiques mall?
Up in Asheboro.
Okay.
One on Sunset, the big one.
Yeah.
I have not been upstairs. I don't climb the steps anymore there. But they've got a lot of nice pieces.
They do.
And he found this one, and it just struck him, the glaze. And it was oil fired, but that glaze, I've got a bowl, just a simple bowl. And I didn't pay much for it, but that is one of the most beautiful bowls I have ever seen. that from